Okay, my name is Maria Triano Koten. So now I want to explain about diction in poetry. Diction in poetry is the language, including word choices and syntax, that distinguishes poetry from the more useful form of writing. The term poetic diction are reprinted from a poet's glossary by Edward Hicks. According to him, poetry diction refers to the language of operation of poetry, language used in a way that distinguishes poetry from other types of speech or writing. It involves vocabulary, phrase, and grammar that are considered appropriate and inappropriate for poetry at different times. Next, I can show the example of diction in poetry. For example, the sentence, I ate an apple. From the sentence, poetic diction is driven by lyrical words that related to specific theme reflected in a poem and create a euphonious and harmonious sound. Poetic diction usually involves the use of descriptive language, sometimes set to a beat or rhyme.
Diction or Latin dictionem or non-diction. The same expression word in its original meaning is a writer or speaker's distinctive type, vocabulary choice and style of expression in poem or story. It is the distinctiveness of speech, the art of speaking, so that each word is clearly understood to its word's complexity and its grammatically and also pronunciation and tone, rather than word choice and style. This is more precisely and commonly expressed with the term enunciation or with its synonym articulation.
In general, diction can be divided in two types. The first is diction based on its meaning. In this type, diction is further divided into namely connotative and denotative meaning. Connotative meaning is the implied meaning of a word which goes beyond its dictionary definition. Connotation could also be thought of as the flavor of a word. For example, mom and mother both have the same dictionary definition, but the words have different flavors once we put them into context. While denotative meaning is the literal meaning of a word, the dictionary meaning. For example, the word mom means a female parent. The word mother also means a female parent. These two words share the same definition, but as we'll soon see, they can have very different connotations.
Hello, my name is Elfrida from Group 3 of Poetry. Today I would like to explain the types of diction based on the lexical. And I would like to explain the definition of diction. So, diction is one of the non-intrinsic in literary works. There are basics for classifying diction based on the lexical. The types of diction there are 8 types. Meanwhile, based on its meaning, there are 2 types of diction, namely denotative meaning and connotative meaning. So, next, the types of diction based on the lexical are synonym, antonyms, homonym, homophone, homograph, polysemy, hyponyms, and hyponyms. And next, I would like to explain the meaning of synonym, antonyms, homonym, homophone, homograph, polysemy, hyponyms, and hyponyms. First, Synonym. The meaning of synonym is a word that has the same meaning as another word. An antonym is a word that has the opposite meaning of another word. While homonyms are words that have the same pronunciation and spelling but have different meanings. Homophones are words that have different spelling and meanings but have the same pronunciation. Homograph are words that have different pronunciation and meaning but are spelled the same. Next, polysemy. The meaning of polysemy is a word that has more than one meaning. And the last, I would like to explain the hyponyms and hyponyms. A hyponym is a word that can represent many other words, while the hyponym is a word that can be represented by the word hyponym. So I think that's all about the types of diction based on the lexical. You can see the example of synonym or antonyms in the PowerPoint slides in this video. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay guys, we move to example of diction in poetry. I will explain for example of diction. The first is formal diction, use of elevated, sophisticated, professional language. Formal diction does not feature slang or colloquialism, but instead adheres to proper grammar and complex sentence structure. And the second is informal diction, conversational, casual, realistic language. Informal diction is often used by writers to portray real life communication or dialogue between realistic characters, and it is often used illicit in narrative literary forms such as short fiction and novels. And the third is colonial. Informal words or expressions that are typically associated with a specific region or time period. And the last is slang diction. Words or phrases originated within a particular culture or subgroup that become widespread in use.
The next example of diction in poetry are pedantic. A pedantic or someone who exhibits pedantic behavior will correct small mistakes that are not necessarily important in the broader scheme of things. For example, of someone who is pedantic is a person at a party who bores everyone while talking at length about the origin and details of a particular piece of pottery. In the next, abstract diction. This is when a writer uses words to express someone intangible, like an idea or an emotion. For example, let's look at The Freedom of the Moon by Robert Frost. In this line, Frost writes about human freedom by describing the speaker's ability to pick up the moon, walk with it, and place it where he likes. And the next, concrete diction. Concrete diction is the use of words for their literal meanings and often refer to things that appeal to the sense. For the example, the sentence, I ate an apple. Poetic diction And last, poetic diction is driven by lyrical words that relate to a specific theme, reflect in a poem, and create a euphonious like let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, from the love song of G. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot.
Hello everybody, my name is Valentina Pradesina and I would like to explain about the benefit and purpose of diction in poetry. So the first one is the benefit of diction in poetry are to determine which expression or words are the best used in a situation. And also the benefits, there are no interpretation between the author or readers. So the second one is the purpose of diction in poetry are the first one to obtain beauty, to increase the power of expression. The second one is accuracy of word choice aims so as not to create different interpretation between writer or speakers. So the last one is forming the expression or idea so that the listener or reader can also feeling what was conveyed. Thank you.
Diction in poetry. Make the reader or listener understand correctly and not misunderstand what is conveyed by the speaker or writer. To achieve effective communication target, symbolize ideas expressed verbally, forming the right style of expression of ideas, very formal, official, unofficial, so as to please the listener or writer.